Welcome everybody to look at the second film in the Tales of Adventure collection number 9 box set, and it is 1976's At the Earth's Core. So this is once again directed by Kevin Connor, who we've obviously already talked about because all of the films in this box set are directed by him. And this is a fantasy science fiction film, clocking in at 91 minutes long. Once again stars Doug McClure, who is, as per usual, like with Kevin Connor, also in all 4 of these films. But starring alongside him, we have the likes of Peter Cushing, who I've seen in 51 other films. Not seen many of his films that aren't a horror film, but ones that aren't in that genre are the likes of Cash on Demand. He was in 2 of the Doctor Who films, and he was also in Top Secret. All pretty good films. Also stars Caroline Munro, who was also in The Golden Voyage of Sinbad, Captain Cronus Vampire Hunter, and probably most famously, The Spy Who Loved Me. So a huge burrowing machine tunnels out of control at ferocious speed, cutting clean through to the centre of the Earth, to the twilight world of Pellucida. Once there, Dr. Perry and David Ines, are threatened by half-human creatures, lizard-like birds, and man-eating plants. So this fantasy science fiction film isn't perfect, and out of the 4 Doug McClure and Kevin Connor collaborations, it isn't quite my favourite. But that said, I do find their collaborations to be highly entertaining, with this being no exception. That said, this isn't quite as fun as The Land That Time Forgot, but its darker tone and more violent action do suit its setting, because obviously it's underground, but there's also a lot of lava, a lot of heat, and quite a persecuting nature to it due to these creatures that are, using humans as slaves. So yeah, that all of that element still does suit its setting. While the production to this is definitely better than The Land That Time Forgot, and the pacing is still on point. McClure and Cushing are also great together. This is probably one of the funnier roles that Cushing has been in. The plot, though basic, doesn't mess about. The production is better due to the miniatures being more convincing, especially when it comes to merging them with the actors. One of the main issues with the Land That Time Forgot was the trying to merge the shoot with miniature parts of the film with the actors and themselves, so you could a lot of the time tell it was like rear projection or a different kind of film that was lit at a different kind of way to the actors as well. Whereas this, it's a lot more convincing, especially during the creature feature fight scenes and such. So yeah, that is all better, and that's principally because they had a bigger budget as well. I'm not sure exactly how much bigger, but because there was only a rough estimate of budgets that I've found, but it could be anywhere between $500,000 to $1 million more in terms of the budget. So, and that is definitely noticeable. Um, Obviously, they might well have learnt their craft a bit better over the time, because when did Land That Time Forgot come out again? That was 1974. So they've had a couple of years or so to work out how to probably do the effects better, and it definitely shows. Also helps that they're working with the same cinematographer as The Land That Time Forgot, Alan Hume, who would also go on to direct some of the Bond films in the 80s. So yeah, they've just done it a lot better, and it's a lot more entertaining because it's more convincing. The score is also well done, and it is generally engrossing. So not quite as fun as The Land That Time Forgot. So it's only going to get a 3.5 out of 5 in comparison to that film's 4 out of 5. But it is definitely the better produced film. It does remind me a lot of the differences between the Master of the World and War Gods of the Deep that we reviewed in the previous box set, where the first film didn't have as good a production as the second, but had a better character, especially from Vincent Price. Whereas War Gods of the Deep definitely had the improved production and a better cinematography and such. And this is much the same in that regard. So yeah, so there's a disc. I love the artwork for these films. This is one thing that has quite frankly been lost in terms of doing this kind of artwork. Quite frankly, you also look at the Land That Time Forgot artwork as well, and it just really makes you want to watch the film. You got these big titles, you got all of this action that is occurring on there, and you got characters as well. Whereas most posters these days just a visual casting list in a lot of ways, which is a great deal of a shame. The 1080p high definition presentation on this also looks a lot better than The Land That Time Forgot. Now that I have heard from people that have commented on my video of that film that the wrong master was used on the disc by Imprint Films, consequently also being shorter than it needed to be by about 8 minutes. So yeah, hopefully we'll get a replacement disc for that film, because it did really look quite poor in terms of its transfer. Whereas with this, yeah, looks really good, definitely a lot better, and obviously the production is better and the cinematography is also improved, and you know the merging of the live action and the miniatures also is better. But the actual quality of the disc also looks a lot better as well. They got audio commentary on this as well by film historians Jonathan Rigby and Kevin Lyons from 2025. Peter Cushing and directing At the Earth's Core. Interview with director Kevin Connor from 2025. Interview with actress Caroline Munro. Got a special art monsters archival featurette. Trailers from Hell at the Earth's Core featuring filmmaker Brian Trenchard Smith. He was Australian, I believe. I've seen several of his films. Yeah, pretty good films, and if he knows about anything when it comes to films, it's going to be someone like him, especially when it comes to these more low budget but high concept efforts. And then you got the original theatrical trailer as well. So yeah, really good film. Really finally pleased to finally have it on Blu-ray. It's one of those ones that I haven't owned on Blu-ray before. I did have it on DVD, I think. Oh no, I only had three of the films in this box set on DVD before: The Land That Time Forgot, The People That Time Forgot, and Warlords of Atlantis. So yeah, never owned this before. Certainly not on Blu-ray, but still really glad to finally own it, as it is a overall really rather quite entertaining film that, like I said, doesn't mess about. We're in the tunnel boring machine and underground in less than 10 minutes, and yeah, we have our first creature feature moment as well in less than 20. So yeah, really does get to the meat of the plot quite quickly, and it's all the better for it. If it was one of those 2 hour plus lumbering kind of films that you might well have seen in like the 50s and 60s, then yeah, it wouldn't have been as good. But because it's only 91 minutes, because it's well paced, and because it gets to the main bulk of the plot quite quickly, it is a overall really rather quite entertaining film. Just a shame it's not quite as fun as the Land That Time Forgot, but we'll forgive it for that. So yeah, but nonetheless, thank you for watching. If you have seen this film before, I'd like to hear your thoughts on it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.